So, hello again. Today I will be doing a seated workout. I've said to a few people now that I will do one. A few comments and things were asking how about seated exercises when you're not feeling up to standing up. So I thought I would get on with it and get one done. Now I may do a couple of them. This is just going to be a general look at exercises you can do. I'm not going to be doing a full set or anything like that. So straight off I'm going to address the question, which is, why would you be doing exercises seated? Why would you be sitting down, doing a workout? And although it may seem obvious, well, it's good to do exercises even if you can't stand up. The question really is, if you're not well enough to stand up, should you be working out? Should you be doing exercises? Somebody who has had fibro for a long time, you might be thinking, well, I'm not well enough to stand up, I shouldn't be doing anything, I should be resting. And that is yes. I would say actually that is a yes to that, mostly. Now, the thing you have to think about is not moving, even when you're resting, is not positive. Not getting the blood going around, even when you're resting, is not positive. So say if you can't stand up, yes, maybe you should be resting. But that doesn't necessarily mean you shouldn't do some seated exercises. Maybe don't think about it like a workout. Now, as you start feeling better, even if you don't feel well enough to stand up and walk around, you can maybe make it more into actually a full routine. But my argument against, well, you should just be resting, doing nothing, is if you're that ill, you really do need to get the blood going around. Your body really needs it. And it's surprising sometimes how little you need to do to get that blood just going. Now, I'll show you some exercises today. I've tried them out. I've definitely felt it. Even just this morning, actually it worked out quite a good trial, really, because last couple of days I've not been doing too great. And this morning I was really tired. Didn't really feel like doing full squats or anything like that. My head was quite bad, not really bad, but a bit of vertigo. So I just started trying the seated exercises. I did feel my blood was going around. I felt my head relieve a little bit, and that was out without even standing up and jogging around the garden or something. So yeah, I would say 100% they are valid, even when you're feeling really bad. It's just, think of them maybe not so much, if you are really bad, think of them as maybe not so much as a workout. I'm going to work out. Think, I'll do a few of these exercises, get some blood going, because just sitting and letting your body just completely do nothing isn't very healthy. I hope what I'm trying to say is coming across, that I'm not telling you to, no matter how you feel, to be constantly pushing. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that your body, even when you are bad, benefits from some kind of blood movement. And you can't really get blood movement while sitting down if you're not doing some kind of exercise. Obviously you're going to become very sedentary. So yeah, with all that waffle out of the way, let's have a look at some exercises then. So I'm going to start with the easiest exercise, just so that if you literally just are having the worst day ever and just getting some movement will help. And this will be the front lateral raise. Now obviously it's easy to do seated exercises with bands. I've shown that in a lot of my workouts. So go back and have a watch of those with the banded exercises. Now I'm really trying to stay away from bands in this video, just to make it as straightforward and as basic as possible. So yeah, the main thing to remember is that even with a seated exercise, posture is still important. In fact, in some ways, posture is even more important, because you don't have to hold yourself up. You can just sit here like this. You don't have to. So you have to be even more focused on it. So just getting a good posture can sometimes help your day. Just getting a good posture when you're sitting, rather than just, trust me, I know what it feels like to just want to on the table or whatever. So even just to get straight, get your shoulders back, tuck your back in, sit like this, even just doing that can sometimes, you know, get your blood going around a little bit. I know it sounds bizarre, but it can. So yeah, just going on from that. Once you've sort of got nice and comfortable and you feel like, yeah, actually I'm getting a better position, lateral raise. Just, I find as well, a little bit of movement in the forearm. So like this, it adds just a little bit of extra to the motion, gets just a little bit more squeeze. You're like focusing on the squeeze in your shoulder, rather than just doing this, can end up just flapping your arms about. I find focusing on a movement like this tends to get you in line, even with no weight at all, gets your mind focused on this is an exercise, rather than just, oh, I'm just flapping my arms up and down. Way, okay, I've done, you know. And also it makes it more stable and more methodical, especially if your head is not very good. I struggle with really bad vertigo. If you're doing this, your head's going to start, oh dear me. So yeah, I find just getting in motion, squeeze, and you'd be surprised, that actually really does start getting the blood going. I can already feel it. And yeah, if for some reason you want to make it harder but you still don't want to get up, like I showed in the other video, get the resistance bands and do that. Perfect, absolutely fine. So we're going to try some lower body exercises now. I was messing around with a squat earlier. Now don't worry, I know what you're thinking. It's like, if I can't stand up, there's no way I can squat. And you're right, you shouldn't really be doing squats if you can't even stand up, or you're struggling to stand up if you're having a bad day like that. Now, I was just messing around with very, very little motion squats that mean that you squeeze your quads and you squeeze your hip flexors and your hips. So basically what you want to do, come forward a little bit on the chair, get your arms resting on your legs like this, and obviously squeezing your back and look forward just like this. Now again, just getting the posture, just getting this posture is a movement, and you're squeezing the muscles, and even just this could make you feel a little bit better, can get that blood going a little bit, make you feel a little bit more human. So if that's all you can cope with, that's fine. Now, but if you want to make it into a bit of exercise, and trust me, again, like the last one, this is very gradable. You can make this really burn actually, and really squeeze those quads. It's almost a legitimate exercise you could do even if you're feeling good. So yeah, basically, just start to get up, really. Just get your feet in so you can sort of feel, you can get a little bit of pressure on them like this. And just literally, just like that. Now you're using your arms to really stabilise yourself. I'm trying to make it as safe as possible and as stable as possible if you're not feeling good. So stabilise yourself like this, but you're not just flopping, you're keeping your back straight, keeping your back flat, and just like that. To make it harder, you can put your feet a little bit further forward. And then you can lean a bit further back forward and put your feet back and just do that. Now, a good thing about this is obviously you can rest easily. You can do a couple of reps, rest. If that's all you need, that's great. And also, if you're sitting in one chair for a long time, you can do a couple of reps, get the blood going around. Oh, okay, get on with what you're doing, or have a rest and watch telly or whatever. And then do a bit more. Throughout the day, you can just keep the blood going around. It's kind of like a way of getting the blood going into the legs and things without having to walk around. But yeah, if you want to do it just once, you can Do a few reps, rest, do a few reps, or do 2 reps and rest. But again, the most important thing is just to keep the mind muscle connection and squeeze where you should squeeze. Really squeeze the quads there, and you will feel it. I actually think that exercise is a really effective one. So give it a go, give it a try. As I said, even give it a go when you're feeling decent, and do a few reps, see how you feel. It's just a lower level version of what I was doing in that other video with the seated squats, where you're squatting like that. So yeah. So the next exercise, using basically the same position, forward on your chair, leaning forward like this. Now with this one, you want to be really forward. So almost looking down at the floor, but still with everything squeezed back, your back flat, again just like this. And then you want to be doing heel raises like this. And if you want a bit more weight, you can lean properly forward and just squeeze the calf muscles. Again, getting blood into your lower leg. Something that you'll be struggling with if you're not walking around much is obviously blood flow in your lower legs and things like that. That's where things can really suffer. So this is great. And if make it easier, you can obviously just sort of sit up a bit more, take the weight off your legs, just maybe put your arms on like this. If you're really struggling, if you're really struggling, you can just literally just raise your legs up and down like this. Just raise your feet off the ground. Make sure that it's nice and controlled, and that you're squeezing the muscle, even if it's just a little bit. So yeah, really straightforward. I think really effective for getting that blood going around. And again, you can make it harder, really lean on your legs, squeeze. And if you wanted to get a proper burn, you probably have to do quite a few reps, but you could do it. Lean on your legs and really focus on squeezing and controlling. You could make it burn. Okay, so the next exercise is again another one I've shown you in another video, just a bit more toned down. I did give this advice to somebody when they're feeling really bad. It's basically like the knee lifts I was doing, but just a bit more toned down. You can probably sit a bit further back in the chair for this one. Sit your back further back in the chair, but your hips forward for this one. Now you could, if you've got a chair like this, you can reach round like this, round the back of the chair, keep yourself solid, and just lift your knees off the floor like this. Now again, if you want to make it harder, lift higher, squeeze. But if you just want to get a little bit of blood going into the hips and into the core, just lift your knees off the ground. Because even that small movement, your core does have to support. It does have to engage, even for that small movement off the floor. It still has to engage. You can also do it. I find this a little bit easier. If you're really struggling, just do a straight leg. Just basically leg raise. A few inches off the floor. You'll feel it in your hips. You'll feel it in your core, in your abs. Just 1, 2, like that. Shoulders backwards, still tucking in that lower back a little bit, not too much. You don't want to be rolling your back all over the place. Just so you've got your back solid, like I say millions of times. Yeah, and that again, that's a really good one. Easy to grade up, easy to grade down. No matter how much you bring your feet off the floor, you're still going to have to engage your core. That rhymed. And get some hip flexor action going on. Now this one might not work if you're feeling really dizzy. I know that if I was having a bad day with my vertigo, I probably wouldn't be able to do this one because it means your head going up and down. So basically get a wideish stance, in fact I'm going to turn around this way so you can see. Get your arms in here, Clench your fists. You can, so you're sort of resting your elbows on the top of your legs like this, and basically you're going to do this. So it's almost like a tricep push down or tricep extension. Now, obviously, to make it a little bit harder, you just basically lean further forward like this. Bring your hands up to your chest. You'll feel the squeeze in your back. As you do this, you'll feel your back squeezing because you're pulling in here, going into the back. You're also obviously hinging here as well, so you're going to be squeezing your lower back in as well here. So you're going to get blood into the lower back. Now, as I said, if you're having a really bad day with dizziness, that might not be such a good one because obviously you're going up and down with your head. So yeah, but if you can cope with it and give it a couple of reps and see how you're feeling, just make sure you don't make yourself feel sick or anything. I just wanted to add that one in because it seemed to work some muscles that normally you wouldn't be able to work sitting down without any weight. So I just thought I'd add all that one in for you to try out, but just be cautious with it. Okay. So that's the exercises, that's the workout. Now sets and reps, I'm sorry, I can't really give you that because it depends so much on the kind of day you're having. This is more just about getting the blood going around. Now, as I said, if you're struggling standing but don't feel too bad, if that makes sense, obviously you can do sets and reps. I would probably aim for 2 to 3 sets of each one, something like that. And reps, you'll just have to feel it because it will depend on your body weight, it'll depend on your energy levels and your muscles and everything, and whether you can feel it or not. So yeah, you'll have to kind of work that out yourself. If you want to comment below, get in touch with me. I can maybe give you a little bit more specific advice for you if you're really struggling. But yeah, it's more just about feeling it, getting a bit of motion going, because that is better than doing absolutely nothing at all. So yeah, like I said at first, maybe don't think of it so much like a workout, but you can if you want as you start progressing. But maybe at first think of it just as getting some motion going, getting some blood in the muscle is better than nothing, especially when you're feeling rough as anything, because sometimes you can just go plummet into a hole because you have one bad day, really bad day where you can't do anything, then you don't do anything, the next day you don't really feel like it, you don't do anything, then before you know, you're in a massive hole for months. I have been there many times, and it's an absolute nightmare to it's an absolute nightmare to get out of. So sometimes just a bit of motion, a bit of, is sometimes all it takes just to start climbing back out again. But yeah, just be careful. Don't go crazy. As I said, it is good to rest when you're feeling rubbish, obviously. I'm not telling you that it's not. So yeah, hope that was useful. And comment below and I'll be doing more videos of this kind shortly. Cheers. Have a good day.